Hello, hello. Today we are going to continue our discussion of figurative language by talking about idioms. There are many different kinds of figurative language. There are idioms, similes, analogies, metaphors, irony, personification, understatement, hyperbole, and even more than that. But today we are just going to focus on one of those. We're going to focus on idioms. So remember that when the words we use mean something different than what they actually say, literally, we are using figurative language. And idioms are one example of figurative language. Idioms are expressions that have a specific meaning. So their meaning is different than the words that they literally say. Some idioms make sense as literal statements, but the literal meaning doesn't make sense in the context that the idiom is used. Remember, we talked about that last time. We have to think about whether the context of the conversation makes sense with the language that's being used. So I gave the example of my teacher telling me that ship had sailed when I tried to turn my homework in late. And I knew that because the context of our conversation was homework, she wasn't actually talking about a boat. She was telling me that it was too late for me to turn in my homework. There are tons of idioms in English, lots and lots of them. But today we are just going to learn about 10 of them. Here is our first idiom. So this is a pretty common one. It's broken heart. So the idiom is to have a broken heart, and its figurative meaning is to feel very sad. So for example, I might say, I had a broken heart when I found out that the boy had lost his dog. I felt so sad. Now remember, we need to think about the context, because this idiom could make sense literally. It could mean that somebody's heart is not functioning properly. But I know that this is a common idiom, and I know that if I am describing my feelings about somebody losing their dog, I'm not actually talking about my physical heart being broken or not functioning correctly. Can you think of a time that you had a broken heart? Our next idiom is hold your horses. This means to wait, slow down, or be patient. So I can think of a time that I was very eager to leave the house because we were going somewhere exciting. And I was rushing around and my husband wasn't ready yet. And he said, "Hold your horses. We have to get all of our stuff ready." So he was telling me to wait, slow down, and be patient. Have you ever been told to hold your horses? What were you doing when somebody told you to hold your horses? The next idiom is play with fire. So when you are playing with fire, you're doing something dangerous or risky. You're doing something dangerous or risky. So sometimes when I am cooking, I might feel a little bit lazy, and I might try to chop my vegetables really quickly. And that's kind of dangerous because I might cut myself. So when I'm doing that, when I'm chopping my vegetables very quickly and not paying attention, I am playing with fire because I am taking a risk that I might cut myself. Have you ever played with fire? What were you doing when you played with fire? The next idiom we have is to cut corners. So when you are cutting corners, you're taking shortcuts or not doing something very well. So this is another idiom that could make sense literally. We could be cutting the corners off of a piece of paper. But when we're using it in a figurative sense, we're talking about taking shortcuts or not doing something well. So sometimes when I am in a rush to get something done, I cut corners and I don't do it very well. Maybe I'm painting a wall in my house and I don't have a lot of time, so I do it very quickly and I don't cover my wall with paint very well. I cut corners. I didn't do my painting well. Have you ever cut corners on a school assignment? The next idiom is to have your head in the clouds. So that means to be unaware of something or be totally unrealistic. For example, I might say, we're going camping. We should bring our microwave and we should bring our bed and we should bring our television. That would be very unrealistic. You can't bring all of those things camping. I had my head in the clouds when I was thinking that we could bring all of the things from our house with us camping. Have you ever met someone who had their head in the clouds? What were they like? The next idiom is to break your word. And that means to not do something that you said you would. So when I didn't take the trash out after I said that I would do it, I broke my word. I didn't do something that I said I would do. Have you ever broken your word? How did you do that? What did you say you would do that you didn't end up doing? This idiom is a piece of cake, and the figurative meaning is something that is very easy. So something that I'm really good at is making soup. I think that making soup is a piece of cake. It's very easy for me to do. Are you really good at something? What's something that is a piece of cake for you to do? This idiom is don't let the cat out of the bag, or to let the cat out of the bag. And letting the cat out of the bag means that you're telling a secret that you weren't supposed to tell. So for example, I accidentally told my friend about the surprise birthday that we were throwing for them. We were going to have a surprise birthday party, and I accidentally told them and revealed the secret. So I let the cat out of the bag. I told them a secret I wasn't supposed to tell. Have you ever told a secret you weren't supposed to tell? What happened when you let the cat out of the bag? This idiom is you took the words right out of my mouth. When I say that, I'm saying that, hey, you said exactly what I was thinking. So after my friend and I went to a movie, she said, that was the funniest movie I have ever seen. And I said, you took the words right out of my mouth, because that was exactly what I was thinking. I was also thinking that was the funniest movie I've ever seen. Has someone ever said exactly what you were thinking? What did they say when they took the words out of your mouth? Our last idiom is get your ducks in a row, and that means to get organized. So if I am feeling very scattered and maybe I'm going camping again and I'm trying to get all my things together, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. All of my stuff is scattered everywhere. My husband might tell me, get your ducks in a row. And what he's telling me to do is to get my things organized. Have you ever been very disorganized, maybe at school? Tell about a time when you needed to get your ducks in a row. So remember that idioms are expressions that have a specific meaning, and we just need to learn what those meanings are. They are a form of figurative language. We learned about 10 idioms today, so your homework is going to be to practice identifying the meanings of those idioms, and you'll have an assignment to do that, and also practice using a few of those idioms with your parents. You can also kind of be on the lookout for times when some of these idioms might apply. So for example, if your little brother or sister is being really impatient one day, you could think about, oh my gosh, he needs to hold his horses. He needs to slow down and be patient. All right, enjoy practicing your idioms.